We are constantly looking for messages from God in the sky, in the streets, or in the sea. Ignoring that, in reality, the best way it has to communicate with us is through our own mind, which is receiving divine messages all the time, without us knowing how to interpret them. Today, we will take a journey through our own mind, where we will discover how the human mind can be a bridge to the divine. We will explore how signs, intuitions, and synchronicities can be interpreted as messages from a higher force that seeks to guide us on our earthly journey. Get ready to immerse yourself in a journey of spiritual connection and self-exploration, where we will explore how God or the universe uses our mind to communicate with us. Stay until the end and prepare to receive his divine message. It must be said that the idea that God communicates with man through a specific part of the brain raises a fascinating intersection between spirituality and neuroscience. While spirituality tells us about the invisible and transcendent world, neuroscience explores the intricate circuits and processes of the human brain. How can we find a bridge between these two seemingly disparate fields? Neuroscience offers us a window into the inner workings of the human brain, revealing how our thoughts, emotions, and experiences are linked to neural activity in various brain regions. We know that meditation, prayer, and other spiritual practices can have a measurable impact on brain activity. I understand that spirituality is not just an abstract phenomenon, but something that has physical manifestations in our brain. On the other hand, the idea of divine communication raises the possibility that there is an aspect of our brain that is especially receptive to spiritual experiences. Some studies have shown that certain areas of the brain, such as the temporal lobe, are involved in religious and spiritual experiences, which has led us to speculate that these regions could serve as a channel through which God communicates with man. Reprogramming everything we knew until now about spirituality and neuroscience. Instead of viewing religion and science as separate fields, we can view them as complementary, each offering a unique perspective on human nature and the universe. And when we bring these worlds together, we can find a greater understanding of the human experience and the role spirituality plays in our everyday lives. We can learn to appreciate the beauty and depth of spiritual practices from a scientific perspective, while maintaining a deep respect for the richness of religious experience. This may seem difficult to many, however. We all have the ability to intertwine these concepts, thanks to what we call brain plasticity. Imagine your brain as a garden. Neurons are like plants, and the connections between them are like the paths that intertwine between flowers. And such a garden can grow, change, and adapt over time. This ability to reshape neural networks means that we are not limited by set patterns of thought or behavior. We can learn new skills, adopt new perspectives, and transform the way we think and act, even into adulthood. Think of it this way. If you've been practicing a musical instrument for years, the areas of your brain responsible for auditory and motor processing may have gotten stronger over time, making you a more skilled musician. Likewise, if you decide to learn a new language, your brain can adapt by developing new neural connections to process and understand the language more effectively. This ability to change is particularly relevant when it comes to our emotions and behaviors. If you have negative thought patterns or unhealthy habits, brain plasticity suggests that you're not doomed to stay that way forever. And while it doesn't happen overnight, there is always room for growth and improvement, no matter your age or circumstances. This works thanks to our limbic system, the emotional center of your brain, the place where all your emotions, impulses, and desires are located. It is like the heart of our decisions, influencing how we feel and the choices we make in our daily lives. This system is like a battlefield, where our primitive emotions and desires clash with our ability to make wise, thoughtful decisions. On the one hand, we have basic impulses such as the desire for food, sex, or immediate gratification. These desires can be intense and powerful, driving us to act impulsively without thinking about the long-term consequences. On the other hand, we have our ability to make conscious and thoughtful decisions, which reside in brain regions such as the prefrontal cortex. This part of our brain allows us to evaluate situations, consider options, and make decisions based on reason and logic, rather than simply following our impulses. The challenge lies in finding a balance between these two aspects of our nature to truly be able to take advantage of communication with God. Often our emotions can cloud our judgment, and lead us down paths that we know are not best for us in the long term. For example, we may be tempted to eat something delicious, even though we know it is unhealthy, or we may give in to anger instead of seeking a peaceful resolution to a conflict. However, when we learn to recognize and manage our emotions, we can make wiser decisions that are aligned with our long-term goals and values. This involves developing skills such as self-awareness, emotional regulation, and empathy, which allow us to tune into our emotions without letting them control us. Understanding the role of the limbic system in our lives is important, as this way we can learn to work with our emotions instead of against them. Instead of seeing our emotions as enemies, we can see them as allies that provide us with important information about our needs and desires. In this way, we can cultivate greater harmony and balance in our emotional life and make decisions that lead us towards greater satisfaction and well-being. Completely receiving the messages that God has for us. This ability is not always so easy to develop. It requires patience and a lot of action on our part. And there are certain practices that we can carry out to strengthen our connection with God and work on this area of our brain. As always, prayer is our main tool, the best way to express gratitude, seek guidance, or ask for help. By taking the time to speak with the sacred, we can feel closer to that divine presence and find comfort and direction in times of need. Meditation, on the other hand, is like a moment of silence and reflection, an opportunity to listen to the still, gentle voice within us that often gets lost in the noise and hustle and bustle of everyday life. In this way, we can calm our minds and open to inner wisdom that guides us to deeper truth and understanding. Additionally, cultivating virtues such as compassion, kindness, and gratitude can help us transform our emotions and attitudes in positive ways. When we practice compassion, we connect with the suffering of others and respond with kindness and empathy rather than judgment or indifference. And when we cultivate gratitude, we learn to appreciate the blessings in our lives and find joy in the little things. These practices not only strengthen our divine connection, but also help us manage our emotions more effectively. Of course, each person can find their own unique way to strengthen their divine connection and manage their emotions. The important thing is to be open to the possibility of joining something bigger than yourself and look for ways to nurture that connection in daily life. Every time you think a thought, make a decision, or take an action, you are strengthening certain neural connections in your brain. If you tend to think positively, make wise decisions, and practice healthy habits, you are nurturing a mental garden full of bright, colorful flowers. On the other hand, if you find yourself trapped in negative thought patterns, making impulsive decisions, or practicing unhealthy habits, you are growing weeds that can choke out the flowers in your mental garden and hinder your personal growth. But here's the good news. Your brain has a quality called plasticity, which means it can change and adapt throughout life. By properly caring for and training your brain, you can weed out the weeds and cultivate a flourishing mental garden that brings you closer to divine connection and personal transformation. One way is to practice mindfulness, which is like watering and nurturing your mental garden. Mindfulness helps you be present in the moment and observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. By practicing mindfulness regularly, you can cultivate greater awareness of your thoughts and emotions, allowing you to consciously choose those that bring you closer to your divine connection and personal goals. Another way is to practice gratitude and forgiveness, which are like fertilizers for your mental garden. Gratitude helps you focus on the good things in life, while forgiveness frees you from the weight of resentment and bitterness. These practices are the only thing that makes the difference between successful people and those who do not achieve their dreams. Take advantage of your qualities and nothing can stop you. What do you think about this topic? Did you know your ability to connect with the divine? We read you in comments. If you made it this far, I want to thank you for watching the video. If you like this type of content, don't hesitate to support the channel with your like and subscription. I also invite you to take a look at our other videos. I'm sure that more than one will be to your liking. Thank you very much for watching the video, and we'll see you next time.